Hey everybody, and welcome to Conscious Talk TV. And I'm your host, Linda Summers, and we are providing you with information to bring awareness to humanity. And our guest tonight, again, yay, is Rick Ewers.
Yeah.
And hey, Rick.
Hey,
Welcome.
thank you again, Linda, for inviting me to this beautiful show.
Absolutely, absolutely. And today's topic is twin flames and the soulmates and what it means at this time for ascension. Welcome everyone who's tuning in right now. And I wanted to say we will touch, well, a couple things. At the end of the show, Rick, we're going to do Q&A, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
so we'll do Q&A at the end. So save your questions for the end, one person at a time. That way I don't miss, because that feed keeps going right up if you guys keep asking questions. So one person at a time. Hey, welcome everybody. And so one question at a time at the end when we're done with the show. And then so everybody gets their questions answered. We'll do it like we did last night's show as well. And in the promo for the post, I also put in there about who are targeted. We're going to touch on that at the end of the show. So, yeah, it's good stuff. So, let's begin. Rick, do you have anything you want to say hello? As Rick would say, party on, but no alcohol and no drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Okay, so Rick, let's, so twin flames, I've been waiting for this show. I'm sure a lot of other people have too. Let's talk about, how the history. I don't know if there's really a history, but how did the twin flames get started? Or should we begin, what is a twin flame? Which came first? How they got started, correct?
Yeah, awesome. Many questions. How do we really begin with this? Let me also say before we begin the show that there are more than one perspective on this. And I need to also say, as we ascend higher, some of these perspectives has to keep evolving as well as more knowledge is integrated within what the twin flames are too. So perhaps I'll begin with, when I was awakened, what I was shown by divine counsel and Father. Perhaps I'll begin with the perspective that I have, if that's okay.
Yes, of
Do
course.
it that way.
Yes.
So what I was given in the beginning, do I need to go right to the beginning? I'm just trying to find the best way to put this. No, let me skip. I'll skip a step from source to what I'm given were 13 original pairs of twin flames. And I was then given, it was my understanding that of 13 original twin flame pairs, that at this time upon the surface there are 12 original twin flame pairs, and that one twin flame pair, which would make 13, stays in the energy form. They're not incarnated in the human form here. So they do serve a purpose, and they also are part of this ascension. When they come together, let's say in this dimension, let me say they kind of spark. If you have, I'm trying to find the ways to put this. So what I'm given, essentially, when the 13 comes together, 12, pairs come together on the surface, that is a 0 point, that all reality is instantly changed. So what you have is upon the surface, if you will, you have 24 individuals that are the original twin flame pairs. When these original 24 come together, have all of their, most of their stuff dealt with, that there's nothing else to do for their full embodiment, when they are ready, that there's, no negativity, no fear, anything, that when they come together on the surface, it creates a 0 point, a flash point that takes us in to the next reality, next dimension. But it's also, it's in conjunction and intertwined and divinely timed with the overall planetary ascension. So there are actually more than one thing that is playing out with this, but the twin flames are very important, the original ones and also the subsequent ones that have been created by the original twin flames since their incarnation and inception at this time upon the surface. To my knowledge, the last number that I got, 752. There are 752 other capable twin flame pairs now created, in addition to the other 12 upon the planet. And it's these joining of twin flame pairs which create and change the vibration of and the frequency of everything around you. That's why when they come together, it's incredible energy that is made and blasted outward that also raises the planetary vibration. I'm going to stop there because I know I'm kind of sketchy how I'm going. You have a question.
Well, I was going to ask you, so you said there's 12 original. So where did the 12 original, who decided that those were going to be the 12 twin flames?
They were branched off from source as a creation.
And why only 12?
The number, there was 13 actually, 13. That number with oak, I should have, it would have been nice to, perhaps it would have been better if I would have took some points before we began that.
Okay.
They were, let's say, they were created. And what was your question again? Sorry.
Why only 12? Because they were branched off source, but why was there only 12? Why couldn't there have been 16?
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's other perspectives out there that I did not, let's say, go deep into that, what they were, and I did not readily ask on this. What I mainly did was accept it as 13 created from source. Essentially what I said, that one pair remains in energetic form. The other 24 have taken up incarnations upon the planet to facilitate and also assist in the overall ascension.
Okay.
I'm not given, I know what you're asking. I'm not really given that information.
Okay.
But I do know that there are perspectives out there in more detail what actually occurred and why that certain number.
Okay. So when the twin flames, so you're saying they're pretty powerful, right? So can you describe what a twin flame is? Because the show's on twin flames and soulmates, so there is a distinction between the two. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. And again, I wish to say this is what I'm given again, and that there's multiple perspectives out there. So essentially, what twin flames are, it is the immense energetic attraction to another one, be it usually it's male and female. So both will feel this immense attraction, but a lot more with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just there's something kind of weird like happening here. I'm trying to adjust, and it's kind of distracting. So yeah, it's but it's very interesting. My let's say my train of thought process is something like it's quelled, or it's diminished. I'm trying to draw on that aspect because I have all the information, but it's blank, like kind of here. It's not much there. It's only on a lower perspective with that. So it's very interesting.
No worries. No worries. All good. So
yeah,
okay,
it is indeed. It always is.
yes, yes. So in the twin flame, so there is a distinction. So you saying, so are they? Will everyone? So can we define then the soulmate aspect?
What I do draw a distinction between twin flames and soul mates. Soul mates, more or less, for what I receive, there is not that intense and extreme overall throughout your whole physical and your energetic field. There is not that full attraction and that meld with it. What I tend to look at soulmate relationships are, what two may consider a perfect compatible relationship without the intense, profound energetics as part of that. So what I would say would be a soulmate relationship would be more along the lines of a perfect human relationship, whereas I would distinct the twin flame. It involves every aspect, and it involves on all levels, the consciousness, the energy, and also the organic aspect, the physical vessel. So it's on every scale, this relationship with a twin flame, whereas on a soul mate, it is, let's say, it's a lower density relationship that, it's what you would call a perfect human relationship. And I would class again a twin flame relationship as the perfect all out angelic relationship, the full thing of perfection of melding and integrating and really actually being one with all that is. So I do say that those are different, very different.
Okay, yeah, they seem like they would be. Does if you're a twin flame, because establishing the soul mates are more on a human level. If you're a twin flame, so is it where it seems like it would be easy, or is it a difficult road to go down when you're a twin flame? Like, do you bring up each other's stuff in a twin flame? If you're a twin flame, you're bringing, am I making sense?
Yeah, totally.
Is it an easy road? Totally. Okay.
Let me say with this again, what is really occurring? There's many variations of the twin flame concept. And again, as I pointed out in the first of the show, that there are different levels of perception on that in perspective. But again, what was your last question?
Does the twin flame have to be, cleared of all their negativity, all their stuff, before they can actually come together, or is it to where they can come together and they work so they're mirroring each other? And do they have to go through this whole thing of trying to clear with each other, you know, their past stuff, and or are they pretty clean when they come together?
When they come together, that creates the 0 point. So yes, they have done all of their work if they are separated. And you know, they in the past they may touch, they might have saw each other, but the true twin flame union does not occur until they have done all of the work and they are fully compatible. So you may have some, and this is a tricky thing. Here's where it gets tricky, is just because you have your Kundalini activated, and you know, you're just because your Merkaba, your light body is activated as well, and you may come into contact with another that may have part of their chakra or their Merkaba activated. You may get some of these twin flame sensations, but if they're not fully as you are, have everything activated and in the highest, most consciousness for this vibration, it may not be the twin flame, because there are catalysts out there. And with this, I am going to say that it's also possible that you have more than one twin flame, dependent upon the levels where you're at. But really, there is only one true twin flame, but you could have ones that will feel like it, but they may not be. And that's because when you awaken, when the Kundalini awakens in many, they are twin flame designees or designates. I got to shut this off. But they need to evolve to find out what it is. So let's say there's ones that they are not twin flames, but they are catalysts to assist each other in the group until the full union, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes.
So
they're kind of the transitional.
It gets tricky and confusing, see, because not only are you evolving into embodying yourself more, but you are also evolving into different levels of perspective. And this is such a touchy subject that is where some confusion could come in. To alleviate that, what I strongly suggest is, you know, you may have a possible twin flame relationship, but please understand that it may not be as well, that you're with someone that you're resonating, you know, perhaps only up to your heart level. You cannot readily tell if you are the full twin flame until you resonate on all levels. So you could be with a partner now that you're feeling all the actual physical energy through your body, you know, let's say up to your heart or your throat chakra, and that you're feeling each other thousands of miles away. You're actually physically integrating, even though you may begin to do that. That does not mean that is your twin flame, because you have to also remember at the same time, we are becoming a network, a collective, that we are all energetically interacting with each other also on other levels, like telepathy, or, you know, what's been coming up recently when I speak with others on the phone. If I'm smoking a cigarette, they'll smell cigarette smoke there. One lady, she was eating a chocolate one night. I smelled chocolate, which I did not have any in my camper. And so there's so many of these side effects with it. As we become intertwined, and some of that can be also mistaken for twin flame energy.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Because that's so there's a whole transitional person. The catalyst can be there, so it's not necessary. So you would really know it if it was your twin flame. Like you would know it. Like how would you know? I mean,
I'm saying no, you will not know until the time is right, is what I'm saying. Because the moment you come together on Flashpoint, you can no longer be here upon the surface. The energy is too immense. However, bit by bit, it is, I can say this, bit by bit, the 12 original pairs are beginning. They're more than over halfway there to come together. And these 24 individuals, the 12 pairs, will come together at precisely the same time. And that creates the overall propulsion of Gaia as well, and all the angelic ones, the ones that are ascending more fully right into a higher 5D timeline, if you can imagine that. And also, when that occurs, these true twin flames cannot stay, and also what I would call the subordinate twin flames as well, which are creating the balance points between the 12 that are spread out globally. They'll be repositioned as well as with twin flame, or the subordinate twin flames, which were created directly from the original twin flames. They're being all repositioned globally as well. And so it's quite a complex and ingenious repositioning of energy, because it's something like a game of chess. I mean, you have, let's say, instead of having one king and queen, you have actually 12 sets of those. So you got a huge chess game going on, but it's not a game of competition. It is actually a game of construct, of building the energetic grid in such a way that it is amplified to take us in to the next dimension. It's an overlay grid as well, because you have to also realize and accept that part of this mundane and this 4D reality out here is not going. It's staying and running as a separate timeline, but we are going. And also with that, many of us have been constructing the 5D grid foundation to facilitate the placement of the flames and the subordinate flames, but also all of the other angelics as well. They're strategically placed around Gaia. Does that make sense?
yes. So they have to. What I hear you saying is that really they don't come together until there's a timing of when the true ones will really come together. When the planet is at a certain level of vibration or frequency or dimension.
When we're ready, it's in conjunction with the Ascension and when our missions are done here. This is what our blast off is, if you will. This is when we leave. When the mission's done, then the flames come together and it creates the flashpoint into the other dimensions where those ones are going. Not everyone is going to the same place. But as you keep going up the levels, you're given more of your memory back, and you're able to make choices at the consciousness soul level with all of your memory. So you're not restrained, confined to the old 4D and 3D that you had to be human, be around Gaia, be on Earth, whatever. That's all going to change.
Yeah.
And some will be staying here as well on what you could consider, to simplify it, 5D timelines. And where what is currently happening outside transitions into the harmony and the peace, and it brings the human civilization up to speed where it should be in conjunction with all the other multiverses and universes that are playing out on lower dimensional timelines. And when I speak of that, they can be, when I say to that scale, when I say lower dimension timelines, they can be also in the 6D and 7D for dimensions. You should perceive that dimensions are an infinite number with that.
So will the twin flames, so do the twin flames, are they like your other half? The masculine or the feminine aspect of you?
Yeah, when they come, if we take that they come from source, then they split, yes. So there is that soul. They are split from the same soul. They are, and they go back together to go back to source. But there's been some things changing, as I believe, Linda, you and I did touched on the twin flames like a few months ago. But what the viewers, what I wish to share is that because we have evolved higher in knowledge and in vibration, that some things are beginning to change. They were not the same as they were before. And it's important for everyone to keep open with it, keep empowering yourself, and keep going forward. And you may say it's in blind faith and blind trust. You could look at it that way, but on the other hand, it's not. You have seen enough and know enough that whatever it is, you've got to trust it and keep building it and keep going forward.
Okay. So the people that are going to, if they remain to stay on this 5D dimension, will those be more of the, well, that would be more of the soulmate,
not really, because yeah, thank you. Not really, because see, you're also entering different dimensions where physics and reality is different, and the way that energy acts and reacts is different. Also, into the 5D, you have more of a control over the energetics than you had in the 4D. So the ones that are staying behind on the lower 5D timelines, that there may be some of these viewers are staying, here for another 10 linear years. But they will now be equipped with, let's say, higher knowing of how to work the energies on a higher level as well. So no, things constantly change as you go up, because you're introducing new powers. The energy is different. The laws do change with that in respect to it. And again, it is very complex, and the best way to look at all of this is to create perhaps the levels, and that is the best way to understand it, like the 5D, 6D labels, 4D, what have you. You need to have like some sort of a gauge, a guideline. So that's why we use those as well.
Okay. So
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I think you've already pretty much answered. I was going to ask you about, do you see that how relationships are going to be changing, which would make sense if we're going in a higher dimension, that our consciousness rises. And so, yes, we would have different, well, and all, again, clearing all the negative and all the stuff, our belief systems and things like that, clearing all of that would be totally different. Now, why would someone want to stay on the 5D, on this plane?
That is made at the soul level with a contract and a choice.
Okay.
Let's say some would be complacent with, or they'd be comfortable with staying once, let's say, this outside mundane world was changed, that it's peace and harmony with a quantum financial system, something that is civilized. So there'd be some staying where it's civilized out of the savagery, what we're presently, what we see out there in the mundane. So there's all different levels with it. And also, let me say that you are not given all of your choices beforehand. You kind of transition into them and keep raising. And as you do, then you see the other windows and the options. You cannot know it down here because you're not staying here. And if you knew it here, you would affect what's happening down here to higher degrees. So everything is divinely orchestrated, that as you go up, it funnels outward and you get more information, more of your memory back. And at the same time, it's raising you from the other lower levels of density, if that makes sense in any way.
Yes, yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
If I may, my own personal, experience with the twin flame thing. When I was awakened first, I was introduced to Kundalini awakening, like all this weird stuff going on. I'm saying, what's that? What's this? Right? I did that video as the funny one about my Kundalini awakening. Like, it just took me off guard. And, I was, when it happened, I was just sitting on the computer, and bang, it happened. And what it did is, always I have the experience to have that and get the information to assist ones with later. But nevertheless, saying that I am also one of the original twin flames. So having said that, what one might consider confusing going along, in their twin flame journey, I will say thus far that maybe more than that. I was going to say 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 females that I have come across that were quite compatible with me, that could be my twin flame. But here's the interesting thing. My nature has been and always is right now. I'm monogamous, meaning that my inner, for what I am right now, my inner self is saying that there's only one. So what becomes confusing? Why would there be several out there for I? So very quickly, saying that occurs because some of them are catalysts, but also I am working with some of them on higher levels to raise them up, because I also am a catalyst, and I also create, as I mentioned previous in the show, I can create more twin flame pairs. And it's part of what I do. I activate and I also trigger with that. But there are also ones that are, they are let's say twin in the past, they are twin flame material that needed to be activated by a partner or what have you, to get them going as well. So it's quite a complex and process with it, but it can be confusing. So I just, shared as with I. And the interesting thing about it is I'm not given the forward knowledge who that one is for me. So, I'm going through the motions, examining the energy and always and seeing what feels right and what doesn't. I will say that again, there are several that could be for I, but right as of yet, there's not really that one yet that I can say yes, she is it. I cannot ascertain it.
Yeah.
So Father's got that aspect held from me. That's a surprise, I guess. And it makes it lonely and tiresome. But also, I will say, we do have part of our other mission here. So for me, I have the complete understanding. If I was with what I would consider my twin flame, I would not be doing any of this. I'd be with her. We'd be traveling around Gaia, in the mountains and places that I love, and she would, love the same. And you'd just be in love and having fun, right? But not really. Once you hit that flashpoint, then you go from Gaia. So it'd be a whole different new love story as well. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So it makes sense that the mission really comes first. You can have the catalyst in there to kind of give you that sense of the twin flame, but it's not going to really happen until we reach that point. I want to go back to something that you said about helping others to connect. If you're helping them, well, first, how do you determine if they're ready? You kind of know, correct?
For me, have to. Yeah, for me, I know I'm given that information to assist certain ones. Yes, for me, I know I immediately identify it sometimes, or am also directly told, okay, you got to assist her, right? So you get the message from headquarters or him, right? That I got to assist, and I don't hesitate. Because this is also part of my divine task here, is to not only, as I said, oversee big things, what's happening with the Ascension, but also to assist individually. I multitask on many different levels.
Yeah. But if you're helping them, then if their partner's not ready, that person's not ready, what good does it do? Well, that's not really, I don't want to say that. I was going to say, what good does it do? But yeah, it does.
It does. It keeps putting them on different levels of their embodiment as well. But also where that powerful energy is acting, is working, it's teaching them many things as well, and it's advancing them. So it's very important. And with again, just going back to me and my experience with what could be twin flames, again, I say that I'm uncertain and that I can't commit because I can't, and I don't wish to commit on something that I don't know. And I don't wish to lead anyone on or any of these sort of things. It does at times, become a little bit complicated because you're also sharing the unconditional love and the love. And, when you become, it's so powerful just to, even without being full twin flame status, just to, be fully compatible up to the heart, like all encompassing with energy and the physical. Like, I mean, for me, no one ever knew what true love was until you're you physically feel it throughout you. You feel the energy transaction with the other. Like, it's truly immense, and it can disorient you, and you get lost in it because it is a total bliss. But nevertheless, it can be confusing as well.
Yeah. Now, is that part of the Kundalini rising that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, yeah. The main thing, and thank you, this is important. So any that have your Kundalini activated, and you're feeling also these, a lot of you, when it first happens, you may get these very strong sexual impulses. The thing is to don't get lost into the lust, because lust is not the sacred sex of what it should be. So you need to integrate the love with the sex, and just being open with this. I cannot make love with one that does not really love me. It does not work. Or if I don't love her, I just don't perform. So that's a personal thing. So that has to be there, because I am also unconditional love in that respect. And just plain sex, no, it doesn't work like that. And it's not what it's for. It's also activating your Merkaba, and keep working with the immense sacred energy. You can work, if you have a partner, work with pushing the energy upward, encompassing the heart, the throat, up through your crown, and up above, even higher with it. Take it to the limits with your partner, with the energy. And, when you're with your partner, and if you get it up to these higher levels where both of you are resonating, let's say right from the root, right up to the consciousness, or the crown chakra, if you're able to sustain that, it's a pretty good chance you two are, twin flames, or, at least you are compatible, and it's totally worth pursuing. But also, I have to speak my truth at this time. As I said, I cannot commit to any, and I suggest, for anyone that has the Kundalini activated and suspect that they are a twin flame, to, just keep going forward in your relationships. You may have relationships, but it's good to put it forth that you cannot make a commitment, because you really don't know. And what you don't wish to do is deceive yourself or deceive the other, because that is a fear-based and a negative-based thing to do, which will disempower you.
Yeah.
And my first, what I would call twin flame experience, and what I now call as a catalyst, with her, there was what I would call, there was deception there, that I brought it up, and I was in my learning days with this as well. But I more so said to her that I cannot be in a relationship that might be deceptive, and what I did. No, okay. So, anyways, I couldn't. I just had to cut that and move forward. But it was also, again, for what and who I am. I am also against my will, divinely separated from the twin flame until the time is right. And I can assure all of the viewers that I am ready, as many know, for my twin flame union. But it's just not divinely allowed yet. But I know it's close with each passing day.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I think we all are ready. That kind of brings me back to, wouldn't that be giving your consent away? Because we talk about not giving your consent away. If you know Well, let's talk about that. So,
Yeah.
you know, you have this Kundalini or whatever, or maybe you don't, but the question being, should we be giving our consent away? Which is what we talked about, not giving your consent away.
In any relationship, you mean consenting to, a relationship forever? Is that what you mean?
No, but consenting to a relationship. So you said you can still have, if you're in these relationships, you don't want to commit to them, but say you're not in the relationship and, you know, should we be opening ourselves up to other aspects?
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you for this. So, if you're in a relationship with your partner, you make it clear and you two work on it. If it works, it works. But I mean, let your other partner know that, well, if you're in a relationship with both Kundalinis activated and you're both feeling each other on the energetic level, well, there is very good possibility that you are the flames. But what I'm saying is that still, because there is that uncertainty up here that you don't know yet, that each of you keep working with each other, keep bringing it yourselves along, see how it works out, keep doing your inner work, but don't fully commit. Know that things can divinely change very quickly. And again, as I said, I was in what I considered a twin flame union, or a beginning of it, but very quickly it got severed. And I now know that is not my first encounter. It was a catalyst. She was not. I know that now from my inner knowing for this time as well. What I will say, though, if one partner, you have your Kundalini activated, you're in a relationship, sometimes perhaps it's meant that your Kundalini is activated, your partner is not. Perhaps you have love there, but I suggest keep testing your partner, see if they are actually feeling the energy, if they're feeling the touch when you're miles away, if you're experiencing the telepathy, if you're together, the degree of magic you may be creating. Perhaps keep note of all of that between you and look at it. But also there are times you must understand now on an individual basis, you go out, you're seeing your divine confirmations by yourself that you are also creating things by yourself. So to try to ascertain in a relationship, if you are creating that in the other one, you need to use discernment as well, because what you wish not to do is create a false flame for yourself as well, intentionally. So it does occur unintentionally, but once you are aware of it, because you wish to be assured with your true divine match, and no one wishes to waste time, trying to make another something that they are not. Not in these times. Everyone's tired. That you do have the opportunity to perhaps have your perfect match, and that's what you want to go towards, is what I suggest. But again, it's what resonates, with each one. I'm only given different perspectives and suggestions, but at the end of the day and at the end of the show, ones must go with what they feel in respect to this. You must follow that inner guidance and also your individual connection to all that is.
Yes, I agree. So then my one question that I was going to ask you was, does everyone get to meet their twin flame? They don't, because you said there's only 752 that are non-created.
That's at this time. That number keeps rising. I'm not given how many. Yeah. So, it's quite possible all the viewers, all that's ascending, it's quite possible that, they have what is a sort of a twin flame relationship just without the real top creator status. So they may have everything with it. And we are constantly creating more to facilitate the ascension when required as well. So, and also, like, for instance, the numbers are expanding rapidly. When I say at this time 752 other pairs that are capable of coming together at higher degrees, what I'm saying is that these ones are created at higher degrees to come together, but part of the creation is when others are activated as well, then they get to such a degree when they have the Kundalini, the root chakra connected to the heart, then bang, then they are twin flame material too, that they can very well develop into that and into the other dimensions. See, again, the twin flame relationship also is dependent upon what dimension you're in, what frequency and what vibration. Because as I mentioned before, the unions here, these lower densities does not support that. Once we do that, we got to go. We cannot remain here on these lower density timelines.
Yeah, makes sense. Would we know if we have a twin flame? I mean, I feel, like myself personally, like I feel like I've always been yearning for that. Like there's a knowingness within myself. Do you know what I mean? That I long for that. So wouldn't someone really know it?
Once you have that, let me put it this way. Anyone that's been introduced to that term, there is a reason. So yes, pursue it.
Okay.
Yeah. So every viewer that we have here and, throughout the whole ascension, anyone that's been introduced to that term, I'd say you're a full-fledged candidate for it, or you would not have been introduced to it.
Yeah.
So,
I've been curious about it.
Linda, we could be speaking in a month's time, and I might receive a number that, okay, there's 5 million twin flame pairs there now. And this is how quick it changes, right? And we could be ready for blast off, right? So.
Well, that's my next question: is with the ascension, what do you feel with the twin flames? What's with all the energies and kind of where we're at?
What I see with this is that everything is all interconnected and it's all converging. The closer we come to changing everything in these timelines, making that progress, the higher the vibrations get. I also noticed that the closer the twin flames get. So everything is also in harmony. It's all perfectly constructed and divinely timed and designed. So, the main thing to make it all happen is everyone keep doing what you're doing, embody yourself, get rid of the negative and the darkness, because those are the anchors that stop us from going up.
Yeah.
And, once we are constantly doing it, the frequency and the vibration here on Gaia, if you take that as a scale again, we mentioned, the Schumann resonance and perhaps so many other mundane instruments there. We do see it happening, meaning that it is happening very rapidly and exponentially. That's also why I said we could be on here in a month's time, if we're even here on this reality, then saying, woohoo, we got 5 to 10 million twin flame views, a perfect relationship.
Yeah, or after the show, anybody's Kundalini opens up.
Yeah, I hope I awaken as many as possible. Yeah.
That's so true, so true. I don't have any other questions. Do you have anything else you want to say on it before we dive into Q&A?
No, I feel good that in Q&A we'll get some more things out. Yeah, I'm great, thanks.
Okay, so we're gonna drop into. Oh, did you want to talk about the targeted ones before we get into Q&A, or do you want to wait to the very, very end?
Let's wait till the end then. I go with what you say. You're always divinely on. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, so anybody have any questions that they want to ask? Now we're opening up to Q&A. So, oh, thank you, Matthew. Matthew was saying feel better. Hard to feel Rick's energy when your vibrations are off. I'm more focused on those. I know. I'm I'm working on getting myself better. Rick is determined I'm in Ascension.
You're doing great.
Ascension.
You're doing great, Linda. At the first of the show, there was something occurring here that the vibration was off. It's cleared up now, but it was very interesting. I didn't ask what it was, but as I mentioned, my database of knowledge was not there. My library of saying, where is it? It wasn't there. I'm ready to perform and deliver. And Dad took it away for a reason. So I'm sitting there, twiddling my thumbs and waiting for what I'm going to say. But we're good now. As you can see, I'm rambling again. So that means we're good.
Yeah. Well, I threw all the vibrations off. Sorry, everybody. I threw vibrations off with my cold, but we're back on. So we have the first question from Christina. I've been receiving messages that my twin flame is on a ship coming to get me. Can you confirm any of that for us?
I won't confirm that, Christina, but what I will say, where you're given that, to keep that in your thoughts, because that's what resonates, and also what you're given in your mind at the time, to keep going forward with that, but also understand that it's subject to change. But it's good once you have these forward types of transmissions to go forward with them without any expectation, but trust them, because they are towards the better things, and we do wish to get there, and we do know that there are many pots of gold at the end of the rainbows. So trust, and it's we are in this process. But Christina, you're receiving something like that, girl. Keep there, keep going with that, because that is a higher forward projection, which is so important. But it's also a guidance mechanism between where you're at now and where that thought is at, that keeps you going forward and keeps your vibration up as well. So have no expectation, but trust it fully where you're getting that. And thank you so much for that, because for me, it is energized, your thought. Let me say on a 95%, that just may be your thing, girl. So keep with it. I'm feeling, I feel the actual energy from it. That's why I'm putting such a high percentage rate on it, because that might be your way. Go with it. So
that's sweet. That's awesome. Thank you, Christina, for that. And Cheryl Lynn, is it possible for only one twin flame to be incarnated and the other not in a body? And if so, can they be a walk-in to a body at a certain time?
Cheryl Lynn,
that's a good question.
Oh, excellent. The end of that. What I'm given is that they are incarnated, the 12 on the planet. But you just brought up another interesting aspect. They can be created and brought down. No, No, we don't go with that. I will say it's a very good question, but I have to go with Cheryl Lynn. What I receive is that they are all incarnated here now, the ones that are to be together. And I know there was perspectives and perceptions out there that, you know, ones had said their twin flames are up above the planet. But I think this is connected with what Christina just said, that hers is going to come in a ship and get her. And I believe that perspective where they're thinking that in this now that they are not incarnated here, it could be what you're thinking is they're just not, they're actually here, they're just not awakened. So you are connecting with their higher self that seems to be off planet. See, it depends on your perception, and thank you. And I'm getting a confirmation on what I just said. So this would account for ones that are saying, you know, that their counterpart, divine counterpart, is actually not here upon the planet. Well, really, if they're not awakened, yes, they're not here because they have not integrated their higher consciousness. So this makes perfect sense. So you might perceive them as not being here, that they're up there, because until they integrate their higher self and awaken in their higher consciousness, they are actually not here, that they have to bring that down into them. They have to awaken to it.
Awesome. Great question.
Yeah. Excellent. And yeah, I give my utmost gratitude for that because I received the confirmation, and that was perfect questions, Christina and Sherry.
Yes. Okay, next question is from Nicole. Is seeing your love bubble and infinity sign after Kundalini raised a sign?
Let me say with that, Nicole, there are just so many signs. I know from my own personal experience, you know, I have seen so many. It doesn't readily mean that it's connected to your twin flame journey, but it's also a byproduct of your gifts and your magic, and it's also part of your divine incentives to keep you looking in that magic and keep going forward. It does not just it may be with the twin flame, but it also does not need to be. It's all part of your energized ascension, and these are all things to assist you with going forward. But having said that, again, if you feel that it is linked, if you feel that and think that it is linked to the twin flame, then you must trust your inner knowing in what you're getting, again, unless it's subject to change by something in the future. But we keep going forward. So, I mean, you get your signs, trust them unless something better and different comes up. It doesn't get any worse. You may get always better the higher we go. But be ready, you know, to change very quickly if you need to.
Sweet. Awesome. Thank you, Nicole, for that. Great. Thank you, Rick. Next question is from Mary. Does Venus, the morning star, have a part in the origin of the twin flames?
Perhaps it could. It depends on what beliefs and what you've been reading, what was put out there. What I would like to say that actually for what we are right now, that there was actually no stars up there, but all ships. Venus and, you know, in Mars and these sort of things, women are from Venus, and you know, there are legends and beliefs with that. They do serve a purpose. They are part of you know, to begin to garner basic knowledge of how to perceive and embrace these other beliefs, because they are instrumental in broadening more of your divine knowledge and escalating you up to where it broadens. But having said that, I will say not really with Venus. No, not really. But, you know, you have come to that stage that you realized it, and it has helped you along. But not really. You don't need it, is what I'm saying now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Mary, for that question. Great question. And then we have from Deborah, do twin flames share the same oversoul, but not the same higher self?
No, true twin flames, it's all encompassing. It's the whole full meld. You are one soul that has, you are one energy that has split itself, mitosis with it. And so you were one, you split off in two, and then these two split off in many other sparks of you. So you, on your way back, you began collecting all of your other essences of you that you put out on the timelines. And then when you get almost complete here, then you begin coming back to merge back into the one. So it's a reverse process of, you know, the embryo and the egg being fertilized and growing to the baby. This way it goes back. It's the reverse process to take you back to all that you are, right back to your true energetic form without any of the dimensional distortions or effects. Then you're back here, and yeah, we do whatever we want at that point. Again, you are given your utmost free will at that point when you're back. You don't, as all the viewers will know, you do not, your free will is very limited in these lower dimensions. Yeah. And that is so because we are taking these physical vessels through a process as well, where you cannot have your full free will because you are part of an overall huge ascension and divine plan that does have a certain design, and you need to be where you're divinely supposed to be. That's why I say you don't have free will. Like, for instance, you get up and or maybe you want to live in California, but things don't work out and because you're not supposed to be there. So, I mean, if you had free will, you say, yeah, I'm going to live in California. You'd be there. Yeah, but you're not. So you don't have, yeah, your free will is very limited yet.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Great question. Hannah, I believe that I am the awakened twin in my relationship and that I have opened him up enough to allow the energy to come in. That's a question.
I suggest to, yeah, just continue working on that and see what happens with it. And that's, I don't know who it is in that certain case, but have no expectations of your outcome, but continue working with it, is what I'm saying. And also with whoever that is, make it very clear that there is no commitment with that relationship either. Just keep working on it, see where you go with it. Things could be subject to change in the near future with that particular one. And don't tell me who it was, please. I'm just reading the energy from it.
Okay.
Hey, but I will say, whoever it is, please, I would, contact me in the future. I'd like to know the outcome with this, if you're progressing or what's going on. Whoever it is, just send me a PM and say, hey, Rick, you were the one, you know, blah, 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 on the show that night. I wish to see how this one turns out. And I also feel that you and I will be speaking a little bit on this in the future through a PM or whatever, but not at this time. Some things need to play out.
Ah, awesome. All right. Okay, thank you. Jennifer, are there really gay twin flames? Good question.
Yeah, great one, Jennifer. Yes, at least with it's my, again, no, let me just do this. Okay, the original ones are male, female. They are like that. But with some of the subordinate twin flames that are created, yes, there will be gay twin flames there. There will be both. There will be some of those, yes. And in respect to that, you know, I wish to also just make a statement of actually how powerful a gay twin flame union would be. Because, you know, to do that, they have integrated mostly both their masculine and feminine side with that, that there is that recognition there. So they are more, let's say, empowered perhaps a lot more to the degree that they recognize both their masculinity and their femininity. Yeah. So great. I have great appreciation and respect for those types of unions as well, because they are important on so many levels.
Awesome. Great question. Thank you for that. I missed that question. I did want to ask that. Thank you. Karen, there are so many that say everyone has a twin flame. Can you confirm this is not true?
What I will say is, in these higher dimensions, again, everyone that's been subjugated to the term, I will say yes with that. But let me also say this, in the grand design of all things, that, or just wait, no, I can't say that. Again, anyone subjected to the term, where it begins to fit, yes, go with that. You will have a partner of, you know, perhaps the twin flame magnitude that you connect. And now please understand, I'm talking while you're still in the physical form as well with this. So there are many things happen once you are out of the ascension and out of the physical organic form too. So there, again, perceptions will change, perspectives as we go higher with this. But the thing is, a simple rule, if you've been introduced to the twin flame concept, that means that you need to know that information, because you are most likely a twin flame partner of some sort. Well, let's say you are of some degree a twin flame, half, whatever way it may form here. And I got a confirmation on that. I did. Yeah. So great.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Karen. We have a question from Daphne. Are the original 12 twin flames the first to come to Gaia?
I'm trying to see how to answer that. Well, Dad's making this easy. He just said, say yes. I don't need to think about it.
Okay. Thanks, Dad. Father.
Library and my connection's back. That makes it easier.
Awesome. Okay, there you go. Yes. Thank you for that question. Next question is from Jennifer. Is it possible that I connect with her higher self through this process instead of her in the physical? Or if I connected to her higher self, it's assured that she has too?
I don't fully understand that question. Okay, she's a lady asking about herself or her partner.
With her sounds like her partner. Is it possible that I connect with her higher self, so her partner's higher self, through this
Yeah.
process? Jennifer, correct us if that's not correct. Instead of her in the physical, or if I connected to her higher self, it's assured that she has too. So if she's connected to her higher self, would it be assured that she has too, connected to her higher self?
No, there is an individual process with this, and it's not, let's say, written in stone what occurs. There are different individual aspects. For example, there are times, and this is true, as we mentioned before, that with the lady, I believe her name was Christina, that she said she's here and her twin flame is off world, but what she's actually doing was connecting with that higher self from her twin flame that has not been integrated down here now. So yes, in Jennifer's question, you can connect with the future higher self of your twin flame when it's allowed. See, there's so many particulars with this. As you raise up higher in your vibration and your knowing, remember that you are no longer restricted by space nor time once you reach these certain levels, that you can, and so many right now, and this will be leading up to our divine gifts when we do it, you can transcend space and time right now with your consciousness. So that means that, yeah, this will make it fun. So that means if you're sitting out there and you don't feel your twin flame, but your Kundalini's activated, so you know someone's out there for you, yeah, go ahead, take your time. If they're not awakened, and consciously connect with them. See what, if you can, and that's beautiful as well. And perhaps you can send a shock down into their organic body to awaken, trigger them.
Yeah.
That, hey, everything works. We are energy. So I suggest try all these wild and wonky ideas, and you may find that, yeah, they work, because the higher we go, you get into so much higher divine magic, and the laws of energy changes. So don't block anything out. Keep open to everything being possible in that respect.
Yeah. Well, and it would make sense that if it came into her consciousness, then that would be something that she could do, as you mentioned to the person with the ship. It's in her consciousness. Yeah?
Yeah, you're delivered that for a reason. We are at a time that know that everything happens for a reason. Like, I just put that cigarette down. The reason is I got to go like this with my hands. But I mean, jokingly, no, and not joking, that everything does happen for a reason. So you have to begin to trust your telepathic, what you're receiving in your consciousness, in your heart, because this is leading you into the next stage of your evolution and your development, with all that you are, with your energetic field and the organic part of you. So you need to begin to trust your consciousness and don't rule anything out. And if you get an impulse or a compelling urge from your intuition or whatever, follow up on it always, because there is a reason behind it. Everything does happen for a reason. You
Yeah.
don't need to know now why it is. Sometimes you might not know for a month later, but you have to initiate the act to get the results. So don't hesitate. That is very important, especially at this time. Do not hesitate on what you would call your instinctual, intuitional thought and feelings and sensations. Don't hesitate.
I love that. Don't hesitate. Go for it. Know it's going to happen.
Hey,
All
we're
right.
breaking through bubbles. We're in these feelers, we're breaking
Right.
through
These
the
are great
feelers.
questions.
Don't stop.
Yeah, absolutely. These are great questions, you guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Michelle, I
perfect.
missed the first. Yeah, I missed the first part of the program, and we'll rewatch from the beginning. But is the reunion based on free will, or will they twin flames push to raise their vibration understanding for a higher cause?
With that, again, no, everything is divinely orchestrated and designed, that there really is not the individual free will. Like if you wanted to rush it and get together, that is not approved like that. It all works in tangent with the overall divine plan. And so the only thing to do to expedite the process is just keep doing your inner work, keep yourself as pure as you can, power it up as much as you can, and amplified, and just like a firefly, keep shining your beak, and then your mate, will be attracted.
Sir, I'm here. That's right. We're here. Like, shine your light, so it just kind of
get
attracts itself
everyone,
to
like,
you.
we get everyone doing the same things, like all the twin flames, doing all that inner work. They begin to shine lighter, and it affects and it expedites the overall divine plan and our mission here as well. So we all light up with it. So the quicker it all begins within each one of you. So do that work is what I strongly suggest. Have no negativity and fear. Whatever method you come up with, get rid of that, because negativity and fear is what restricts you to these lower realities. Those are the anchors. That's why it's fundamental to just, don't let anything get you afraid. Don't let anything anger you. All of these things we speak of. Keeping your higher thoughts, your higher truth. Speak your higher truth, and continue that way. Then you're always empowered to that respect, and it facilitates the expedition of this ascension.
Sweet. Awesome. Thank you. Karen just commented on, I know of an original Aeon twin flame pair that incarnated as a same sex pair. Aeon, Aeon, I've never heard of that. Oops. There's a.
Yeah, that sounds. It just sounds faintly familiar to I, but yeah, I cannot really relate what she means with that. But again, you're getting that relationship. It's there. It did occur. So yeah, it's also, again, we must go back to it, that actually, the physical vessel was here with the incarnation within the full energetics, the life force of the vessel. It just needed to be activated too, which brings on then the gay union of a twin flame union, which once it's triggered and ignite that, and if the energetics and everything is there, sure it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to make a comment because there's a few comments of people feeling heavy and tired. Is it because of my cold or this whatever's going on with me? Is that lowering the vibration?
No. Everything's perfect here. I had to put out a post today because many are fluctuating. There is linear time, as we know it, is being broken by many of us because we're fluctuating up and
Okay.
down. But there's also the immense global pressure in this
I'm
4D
feeling
of what is happening.
yes.
I mean, what you're feeling, we are all empaths to higher degrees now, meaning that you are feeling the
Yes.
energy from the masses, which is the first stages of that is them getting mad and venting the fear, which is allowing them to awaken and arise and rise further up in their awakening. So anyone feeling that that density, transmute it, transition it into positive. But it's the outside effects for the most part what's doing that.
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling a lot of pressure. Like this is all pressure. My whole head. So
Oh, interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely feeling the full on 4D whatever
Well,
stuff. So
well, I have to say you're working extremely well on the pressure. I didn't know this was an awesome job.
all right, there you go. I feel better now. Okay, thank you. Well, I'm sorry. I hope you guys all feel better. Transmute that stuff. So, and thank you for all your love and support on the colloidal silver. I'm going to check into that too. So, all right, back to questions. So, Stella has a question. What does Rick mean by the phrase subjective to? Is he saying that if you've heard that phrase? Well, she's asking really the people.
Yeah, if it come into your awareness. So, for instance, ones that were not ready to be a twin flame or didn't know about it, they would be oblivious to that term. Because actually, should I go deeper? I wish to say something deeper in respect to that, but again, to keep it simple, they would not, their attention would not have been drawn to that term. So when I say subjected to, that means that it was presented to them in some manner, that they noticed it and they said, "What's this?" Or if something started occurring to them and they went online trying to find out what it is. Or, if they're out with a friend that says, "I'm a twin flame pair," looking for it, because it is rapidly spreading throughout the collective as well. If that answers the question.
Awesome. I think so. If it didn't, let us know. I'm just trying to find some other questions here because the feed kind of went way down. With Cheryl Lynn, I will answer yours. She had a question. Have we talked about the targeted ones yet? No, we will be talking about that at the end of the show, but we will talk about that. Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, my energy, well, I'm here. But thank you. I appreciate that. Geneva, what does it mean when you dream that you marry your twin flame counterpart? Woo, yeah. I'm in that for you. I'm with you, Geneva. Yeah. Oh,
Well,
juice.
let me say that is most likely, your future, one of your future experiences. Yeah, we know how important dreams are, because really they are not dreams, they are realities that you can visit with when you're in your energetic conscious state. So wherever that would be in the year 15,000 or in another dimension, everything is possible. But where you receive that, it's for you sometime in your existence. Yeah, you can visit that in your higher aspect anytime. I just don't have the information where it's at. I could get it, but I'm not. I'm gonna do that.
Okay. I'm seeing if there is any more. Hey, if I missed your question, I'm at the top. If I missed your question, let me know because I do not see it. And thank you everybody for your concerns. I love you guys. Thank you.
I
It's
wish
so
to
nice to have
say,
people. Yes, go
I,
ahead.
yeah, I wish to say, everything that I've said thus far tonight, that everyone must go with what resonates within you. And meaning that there might have been something I said that didn't resonate, but you must go with what resonates with you because that is your guidance through the experiences you need to keep rising up. All that I do is give the different perspectives, and I do give a guidance if it resonates with you that may assist you in learning and experiencing higher things to keep building you up. Anything that I put out is always for the individual embodiment to assist them. And always, as I say, if it doesn't resonate with you what I say, that means you're not to follow it at this time. You must always fall back and trust on your discernment resonation feature, your heart, and your soul connection straight to source, creator, God, whatever you call it.
Yes.
Him, her.
Yes. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, kind of said it
Jennifer.
was like call. Yeah.
Yes. Jennifer has a question. Divine partner, same as a twin flame? Like divine partner, divine union?
That depends how you use those terms. It depends. You probably could use the terms interchangeable with saying that you could say divine. Let me see how to put this. I would say, for the most intents and purposes, the label twin flames would be, is the highest designation of a relationship, and that um, perhaps what I'm feeling for a divine partner, maybe you would consider that not your full divine connection, but perhaps one to assist in your mission or your purpose, is the way that I would look at that. But again, I suggest to whatever way you feel comfortable with it to utilize those labels, but always leave them open to change and reflect the level that you're at as you keep going up. You'll need to change levels as you keep advancing, labels, sorry, as you keep advancing higher. And some of the terms we have been using, like a prime example, the word understanding. What we have seen, within the Ascension community, a better and a higher word is the inner standing. And because of the energetics attached to the old label of understanding, there is a little bit of energetic. So having said that, you'll see the transition of terms as well as we go up.
Yeah, thank you for that, Rick, because that helps me too. So thank you for asking that question, Jennifer. Deborah Lee has a question. What if the soul has the knowing there is no time while living in the body? Is the twin flame union possible?
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, because I kind of broke it up. Sorry. What if the soul has the knowing there is no time while living in the body? Is the twin flame union possible?
Yes. I right now know that there is no time, and I do know I am a twin flame. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm still here. I wish to go, it's not, but I'm still here. So yes, I can answer that. I fully identify with you.
Right? I did, yeah. Yeah, I did too. It's like, I know that's going to be happening. Oops, it's something about counterpart. Let's see. Oh, I might have missed it. There's a lot of stuff on here, sorry. Somebody asked about a counterpart. Trying to find it.
Yeah, I like that term, for divine counterpart. And getting back to the last question, I suggest, you can identify with these terms and labels, but on a temporary basis again, a divine counterpart. And I like that because, yes, I have experienced what I could class and identify as divine counterparts, let's say becoming intimate to various degrees with other ones on their path. But again, make it very clear before any intimacy occurs, that you have that mutual understanding that it's consensual by both. And, if it's to assist you going forward and those sort of things. So you may wish to look at that as a divine comrade or counterpart. But again, I suggest to keep it open, that even though you may consider them a divine counterpart in this now, that you may transition out of that, and there may be another that will come in that could be what you would call, okay, that's the flame, it, right? So, it's a transition. And as I said, to limit the confusion, it's best not to restrict yourself, because you could be in a relationship here with, a male that is awake, but then boom, over here, out of the blue comes into your reality a man that is more awake, and that your energy is just bouncing, that it. So what you don't wish to do is, have any negative thoughts and also feelings connected with this. And this is one of your most ultimate tests as well.
Yeah.
This takes me into is the heart. We are dealing with the heart, all of that emotion and that intense energy. And one of the biggest tests that some of you may have yet is having that full blown love and unconditional love. But for some reason, you've got to let it go. And I know that because, again, I had that with what I consider my first introduction to the twin flame. I mean, when I love, I am unconditional love. And when I love with everything in me. And it does make a deep imprint. And although I'm well equipped with the ways to try to get rid of it or quell it, you actually cannot, because it is an energy. And when you're always love and unconditional love, you really cannot sever the love, but you can diminish it. But it becomes very challenging. And this is why I brought up always be ready, to have it clear that in any relationship, that if you must leave it, that you can leave on amicable terms, or, an understanding between the two, that because of the severity and the importance of these divine unions, that they do occur. There will be divine intervention to assure at the proper time that the true alignments do occur. But there can be some emotional heartache and pain and energy with that along the way. Now, I know you may think that that's a cruel aspect from your perspective here right now. And, I also could say that it's kind of cruel for us to go through that. But I also know that once you go higher, that you have the full understanding of why that is so. So some of you may be subjected, to that immense emotional pain to be able to detach, even though you love something, that you must be able to detach from it as well. And the reason, I can go a little bit further to say why that is so. The reason is it's because it's connected with your mastery and your gifts, that you cannot, to step into your full divine mastery, you cannot let something else control you. You have to be able to control it and all outside of you. So this will be your deepest and toughest challenge of, of respect and accepting love and being able to just not letting go of it, but just being able to distance it. It is the most powerful energy, as we know, and
Yeah.
some of you will be coming up against that. So heads up with that. You need to discern and know what is happening going forward with that. It's not to spread fear. We want everyone loved, but there are some that will come up against this because it is a stage in your development. Now, I can say it here, and what will occur, some of you will perhaps already identify with that and know it, that it was so. But to let the others know that it may be coming up, you overcome it, we overcome everything. But just to, again, to let you know that that is a very possible scenario for some of you in the future as well, dependent upon your mission here.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that. Amelia, she believes she's married to her twin flame, but he has an alcoholic addiction, and she has been doing her inner work. And I have been escaping the close connection for some months now, but I want to know what is best for me, as I have been getting the feeling that I should. That doesn't make sense. Is it okay to close the connection?
You know what?
Your
You're
views.
feeling, yeah, she's feeling that she should, at least for a while, yes. And keep going ahead, because if you keep going ahead, what was her, Amelia?
Yeah.
If you keep going ahead, Amelia, this is you keep going ahead and empowering yourself. If he's supposed to follow, he will. He will come. I suggest don't you stay down on his level, exerting energy, trying to change him, because what it's going to do, it's going to stagnate you if he's not supposed to rise. You have to trust divinity and trust yourself to rise up, and if he's meant to come, he will. This way, you're not distracted and you're not wasting time guessing on the thing. You don't need to guess on what your empowerment can do, and that will answer many questions for you the more you empower yourself, and it will make it easier on yourself, and it will also expedite you. Where you're feeling at least a temporary separation, I fully concur with that, and it is most likely. No, I'm going to say it is essential at this time for you to do that. You need to be empowered more. Then you can answer your own question. Once you become more empowered, if he's coming or if he's contacted you or something, and you detect the higher consciousness change, then you know, okay, but keep going forward. Don't be hauled down to that level. You need to, in relationships like this, whether it be a male or a female that's going ahead, you've got to keep going ahead. Don't be expending your energy trying to change the other partner, because it may not be meant to be, and you'll stagnate yourself. And the quickest way to get your answers is to empower yourself and keep going ahead.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that question, Amelia. Mark has a question. He also missed the beginning of the show, but he's hoping to connect with his soulmate. Is there a specific timing in all of this?
Let's say you do have the ability to speed it up, to expedite it, again, by doing your inner work. Have no expectations when it will come. You don't go searching for it. You don't waste time and energy again searching for it. But I know I've done it as well. But again, you build yourself up, and when it's ready divinely, when everything is in divine timing, then it will come together. So while you're waiting, and you're not given how long it takes, while you're waiting, again, keep empowering yourself up, and it cuts down your wait time considerably. It should. Well, no, it does. It does. It's just that you're not given when. But the most important thing, work on yourself, because that is the most integral, foundational thing to do if you suspect your twin flame. To make it happen quicker, get all of your S-word stuff dealt with. Get it out of the way. There's to be no obstacles when you come together as well.
Good. Awesome. Thank you for that, Mark. Thanks, Rick. Hannah, okay, so I asked the question prior about being the awakened twin and believe I'm opening my partner. I originally had though twin was prior partner, but the catalyst, but that catalyst me into this union. Do you know what I'm? Do you know that? Do you know what the question I'm asking?
Not really, but I do have a comment to make here. Maybe this might answer it. What I wish to say first is that any of you, like I had mentioned previous with my experience, if it looked like you ran into more than one twin flame possible match, then you have to be very assertive, very aware of what is occurring, and then you have to more meticulously address your relationships just so much more openly in that respect, because what you may be as well is a catalyst that will come into contact with many. So you need that freedom without negative attachment from the other one, that they're able to let you go, because you don't want an energetic negative attachment from them where they're mad at you and are feeling hurt. So what you do to avoid that, you get that put up there in the front, so then they know it, and it was said, and it's out in the open, because you need your freedom. And this is very important for any of you that know you are a catalyst. You need to be free fully to the divine plan, because it's possible you could be a catalyst for dozens, and you cannot be restricted to one partner all the time here when you're supposed to be over here activating other ones too. So I suggest to be very meticulous and to take note of what I just said, and why you should be flexible with that when that occurs.
I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, please let us know, and we will readdress that. Oh, there was just a question here. Trying to get something about the rays, blue rays. I don't know who that was though. Rick, you have anything else to add? I'm just trying to find this question. Oh, is there a difference between twin flames and the twin rays? Good question. That's of Geneva. Thank you, Geneva.
Geneva, with that, what I would, yeah, there would be a, yeah, there is a difference. Those terms are not interchangeable to what I'm given.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay.
Just let me check on something. Yeah, the twin rays have other specific purposes.
Oh.
It is different than the twin flame. And thank you for bringing this up, because it is very interesting. And where she brought it up, I say it is the timely manner of it coming out means that it does have relevance in this now and going forward. Thank you on that. But they are, yeah, two different type of things is what I'm given. Two different thingies. Yeah, there we go.
Wow, awesome. Okay. I didn't know that. Thank you for asking that. Stella, what is the divine purpose of the twin flame? That's one question. And can we progress to higher dimensions and or wholeness without a twin flame?
Yeah, the latter part of that, yes. And again, the twin flames, they have, it's because of the twin flames are sub-creators directly from force, and when they combine together, it's an immense electrical force that creates universes, timelines, and everything else. So that is essentially what they are. They have many missions in regard also to creation. They can create as one in the higher dimensions, or they can split off. And because there is no time, even though we experience linear time here because we are in physical form, for what we are, in the blink of an eye, you can be back together. In reality, in the blink of an eye with your consciousness, if divinely approved, you could be all back with your flames and back up in your energetic form in the blink of an eye, because there is no time.
What was that last part? There is no time?
Yeah, there is no time, meaning that once you are no longer restricted by this reality, because there is a divine thing playing out here, that you are not restricted by time, because you can transcend all time and space. So that means that there would be no time, because you would always be in this now. You could go 50 million years in the past in the blink of an eye, which means there is no time nor space, and henceforward, because you are aspects of creator, and everything is possible and nothing restricts you. There is no restrictions like dimensions, space, or time. These are limited humanoid thoughts that keeps the veil partially intact. It keeps you away from all that you are in your full divine knowing. That's why that's why your consciousness is put down into the human form, to have this experience with a veil intact. You would have no fun there, and it would be no use also to be here if you knew everything of what you are. But
Yeah.
in this time, you're allowed to know that because we are leaving soon.
Yay!
Yeah, yay. I was
Let's
hoping that was a
rise.
few years ago, but Dad said no. He said, I insist you stay to watch the show. That was a couple of years ago. I tried to get out, but I wasn't allowed. Yeah.
No, you got a mission, Rick. You're here to help us. It's just,
Gee,
you're the
yeah.
overseer planetary.
But like I say, if I got to remain on the planet, I just want to run away with my twin flame in peace and in the mountains if I got to stay here and, just, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to think.
I love that. Next question is from Jennifer. Quick question. If twin flames don't come together, even for purposes of mission, are soulmates sent as relationship partners as like a replacement? Thank you, Jennifer.
I wouldn't look at it like that. I would look at it, if you are a twin flame, if your Kundalini is activated, you're a twin flame. And there is really not a soulmate circumstance for you because you have one of the highest divine designations when you are a twin flame. So meaning that a soulmate relationship is not a soulmate relationship does not empower you, and it keeps you stagnant. If that resonates with what I'm saying, a soulmate, like earlier in the show, a soulmate relationship is something that you would kind of more so have in the 4D, 3D, without much of the higher energetics. But if you're a twin flame, no, you don't have a substitute of sorts. You keep progressing forward, but it does not mean that you cannot have what is a soulmate relationship now. But what I'm saying is that you also ascend out of that, you transition out of that when you are a twin flame. So for all intents and purposes, what I consider and what I'm showing is a soulmate relationship does not have the physical energetics and all the magic. A soulmate relationship would just be what you could imagine in the old 3D or 4D, just a love and energy where a couple gets along good and everything goes harmonious for them, but they just don't have all of the magic. They don't have all the physical energy working within them. Plus, they don't have their magical gifts that manifesting and creating the magic. So it is quite a difference with it. And if that answers it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Jennifer, like if one is using free will to not be in union, moving on is okay? Question mark.
What was that question again? If one is not in free will.
If one is using free will to not be in union, so they're using their free will to not be in union, moving on is okay? Question mark. So can she move on?
Again, I got to go back that no, actually, here you do not have the full free will. That if something is supposed to move divinely forward, it is assured that it does. That you really do not, you cannot resist it, even though you don't know what's coming forward, what's maybe happening forward. it will be divinely assured for the higher twin flame aspect will occur, and it always goes forward. So with that, again, you don't, what I suggest is you follow what resonates and what occurs, and you watch your process. It's your inner knowing that tells you if you are a twin flame or not. And it will also be your inner knowing telling you that the partner you're with, if they're your twin flame or not as well. And there's certain little things, as I said, you can you can test with that. But actually, no, you have very little free will. If you are a twin flame and you're not with it, it will be ascertained and assured that whenever the time is right that you will be with the twin flame. But not to stress yourself again. If you allow yourself to be divinely guided and flexible to the divine plan, to go with the flow rather than butt up, bang your head up against the stream, or to go against the stream, to resist where the flow is, and you'll feel it. You just feel what's open, and you follow that. You don't go somewhere that bang, you're getting negative signs or brick walls all the time. Those are part of your signs to tell you don't go there. Don't waste the energy. Don't exert your energy trying to even change a partner. I'll go back to trying to make them wake up and things. It doesn't work that way. You build yourself up, keep going forward, and if they're supposed to, they will follow and they will wake up. But it could be that they won't, and they will fade out of your circle of friends. But what you do is you let divinity take care of that by trusting and keep going forward and monitor the situation. And also with this, again, nothing is written in stone. You cannot write anything in stone. It's just best to be open and keep going forward and work on yourself and see what presents, what is attracted and what isn't. So if you have a partner and you keep going forward, getting stronger, and the partner, you can see that they're raising in consciousness and are keeping with you, and that things are compatible, that there's no hidden negative blocks, then you know that, if things are in line, it's looking pretty good, and trust that and go with it. But if you repeatedly keep hitting blocks with things, perhaps you should take a better look at it and follow. If like Amelia, she needed a break, maybe you need a break, and empower yourself a little bit more, then look at what's occurring. And if you're supposed to be with that one, after you take a break, then things will work. That's what I suggest. We're getting into relationships now with it, but it is that it's all interconnected with it. We can go back to the marriage counseling and the philosophy of relationships. We can get right into that because it's all interconnected, but I'm not, because not to degrade it. It had its intents and purposes when you were human, but these relationships are not human. They are higher caliber with energy involved in the relationship. It's a whole new love affair, if you will. It's not the same as we all know, and like, but when I, when I was awakened, for 49 years before that, I was awakened when I was around 49 years old, or no, 47, I guess. Anyways, what I'm saying is, prior to that, I did not know what love was. I did not know what true love was. And I'll tell you, it set me on my butt when I actually felt it and started feeling it. I said, wow, this is what it is. Now I know. And I love that Foreigner song. I want to know what love is. I kept singing that for a while. Then I found out why.
And you got to feel it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Awesome.
I got to say, I love it. Pardon the pun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Michelle has a question. Are some twin flame grid workers separated to raise frequency at different locations? I think you did mention that at the beginning, didn't you?
Yeah, that does occur. Each one of you have been separated until the time of coming together, and that's for very important reasons. It's also quite possible that because of the energetics each one of you contain as you become stronger, that really when you come into the union, you cannot stay here because you affect on an energetic scale too many things. So it's, yeah, you are geographically positioned until the times are right. Then you merge. When I say then you emerge, you begin to come into contact with each other.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Let's see. There is a question. If I can get to it. Bear with me, guys.
Yeah.
My little scroll thing wants to keep scrolling. Okay. Jennifer.
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
Jennifer says, so it's really both of us going through Ascension, 3D up to 5D timelines, and in some we're not connected, but the highest we are, and so long as we keep working on ourselves, fully seat soul, we unite. I'll repeat that again. Yeah?
Yeah, I was yeah, please.
Okay, so it's really both of us going through Ascension, 3D up to 5D timelines, and in some we're not connected, but the highest we are, and so long as we keep working on ourselves, fully seat soul, we unite. I don't understand what fully seat soul means.
Yeah, to perhaps just answer that is, yeah, keep working on yourselves and see where it takes you if you're in a relationship. Yeah. But again, yeah, just keep working on yourself, and you know, you can tell with your partner if you're becoming more compatible or if there's a gap being created. Sometimes a gap will signify that it's getting ready for a separation. It's divinely orchestrated that if another relationship may be evolving as well.
Okay. Yeah, well, and I think we've been talking about this on other shows as well too. That we have to. I mean, in order to become, it sounds like what I've heard you saying tonight. In order to be united with our twin flame, we have to do the work on ourselves. We have to be clean of all the stuff to where there's this purity to come together, and then it's a timing thing as well.
Yeah, as pure as you can be, but you know, as we keep raising in vibration, let's say there could be two like this that are, you know, have everything going up to their crown chakra, but they can come together very quickly and they can take the rest of that journey together very quickly. So let me say, on a percentage, if they have, can I say 70? It's 80. Okay. So if they have about 80% of their work done, it is possible for them to come together to very quickly finish the rest of the work. but that would be done very quickly. Because then it weeds out, once you come together, it weeds out all doubt. It instills you with your knowing and your memory, and everything is there that you don't need to question anything anymore, and you excel to the merge and flashpoint even.
Yeah, that feels good. We have a question. I hope if I apologize ahead of time if I don't get your name correctly. Laya or Leah? Liya. Leah. Is it possible to have met a false twin flame to be fully awakened after? I think it was our soul contract. Hi.
Yeah, I would consider that a catalyst. Yeah, if you're no longer with them, yes, there are catalysts and to awaken ones. But then, as you saw, it looks like you were separated because you kept advancing. So there are some out there that is catalyst just for that intents and purposes to trigger the Kundalini. And what you will find is that, you know, it may be a wild, lustful engagement, but it may burn out very quickly because it was only a catalyst and a trigger. And you will find that separation will occur so that you can keep advancing and moving on to the higher compatible energy.
Awesome. Okay. That is Leah. Thank you, Leah. I don't see any other questions, but I did write down 2 questions as people were asking. One of my questions was, you keep mentioning the Kundalini, so the Kundalini has to be open. What if your Kundalini is not open, but you know you have a twin flame?
Let me say, if you're introduced to that awareness, again, that, yeah, once you're introduced to that, then afterwards, at some point, it's going to be triggered and it's going to be activated. Because also, see, once you are introduced to the twin flame, okay, let's say you're not activated, but you're introduced to the twin flame concept. It is also a trigger in itself that's connected to your belief, which will also be the trigger to activate the Kundalini. See, by you being aware of the twin flame concept, it is the beginning of that journey. So somewhere down the line, yes, your Kundalini will be activated with that. And it's also your light body that is also connected with that. Really, you could say it's interchangeable, because when your Kundalini is activated, it is your Merkaba in your light body, you know, getting your spaceship fueled up to leave here. And that's essentially what it is as well. But there is, you know, special, beautiful gifts with that sacred sex, part of the sacred, perfect relationship, and, you know, the switching of all of the emotions and changing them for all of the harmonious, beautiful bliss ones, and having that again. Yeah. Did that answer the question, or did I get rambling on? I get lost sometimes in the concept itself, because, you know, it's just anything you want, right? And so,
it's so always great. I love the I love the rambling. It's always great. And then my next question was, what about the masculine? Where does the masculine stand in all of this? I mean, we're talking about twin flames, and we know that on one of our shows, The Feminine, we talked about it's more of the feminine that are rising. But I mean, if there's all this twin flame stuff going out there, then you would think that there's more masculine that are doing the work, which I know there is. So I'm not, you know, saying there's not, but where are the masculine in all of this?
This is an excellent question. Again, I'll quickly use the 75% of feminine having the Kundalini activated and 25% of the masculine. But with this, the 75 till this ascension is done, this huge 75% of the feminine energy got to keep going forward, supported by this 25% masculine aspect. And let's say if we get up to where we're going with the ascension, then this masculine comes together and it raises up the other masculine to the equality, but it happens very rapidly. The 75% feminine and 25, these are masculine. These are the way showers going forward, creating the plane for all these to come up. So it'll happen very rapidly. But this needs to be built first before the rest of them rise. We only need it to begin this ascension. We only needed that stability of around, as I mentioned, 22-25% of the masculine, enough to hold that space to allow the feminine to go forward and keep raising the vibration, which creates the new plane. So once we had enough, and you could also say the light quotient, which was reached in 2012 with the 144,000, were the light quotient that enabled the process to begin too. And it began and it kept building. And if you look in 2013, 2012, at that time, upon the surface, there were about 144,000 that had integrated enough of the Christ abilities to activate. That was the light quotient required to also activate and to take this ascension into the higher places. And continuously, that number is way over, like I'm getting 5.3 million, but I believe Anthony Whelan referred to this number as well, and a few months ago, and I am getting confirmations on that's where we're at right now, like upon the surface over, it's around 5.3 million with the Christ abilities. I mean, and there's that many here now that are awakened to their Christ abilities that they can manifest, to various degrees and know what is going on in the least.
Yeah.
But I get off track again too.
That's good. No, so it's the women are just paving the ways, as we talked about before. Yeah. The women paving the way. Yeah.
The masculine. Okay. Oh, okay. In respect to that, if I may.
Yeah.
The masculine will rise in the blink of an eye. The ones that are going forward, it will happen very quickly. The higher you go up, you are also bringing them up a bit, but see, the seeds have all been planted so as you were going up, that once they come up, they could just have a shift overnight right up here, because everything is seeded there for them. You are the ones seeding the way as well.
Yeah, I love that. Barbara has a question. Yes, go ahead. You want to finish off?
Because I was just given this. There is also some other divine magic that has not been mentioned yet at the end of the rainbow. So there are.
Really?
It was alluded to before as rewards. A father wants to say it's treats or something. So anyway, there we go. So there's some other treats.
Goodies.
Yeah.
All right, good. Well, I love that. More surprises at the end of the rainbow. Yay. Okay. Well, Barbara has two questions. The first one is how to make alchemy with twin flame. What's the right intention while connecting through sacred sex?
With that, where you know about sacred sex, then that means you were given a technique or the information. Then what you were given, that means to follow that. You have the merge and you have the meld, and there's so much fun you can have with that as well on that energetic level, but always keep pushing it up the energy, because you are also creating with that, and it will be divinely ascertained that not too much earthquakes and things are created because of this reunion. But I need to say this, that yes, you know, it does affect the whole energetic fields, especially Gaia, and dependent upon each one of your, well, you say you're in that sexual union, the sacred union. Yeah, you can have quite multiple effects, and you do affect it. So you may have a little bit of intimacy and go online and just see if you're creating any earthquakes. You'll see, yeah, okay, but they didn't hurt anything, you know. But you go, wow, okay, you say, honey, there's an earthquake here 5 miles from the house, or a tremor or what have you.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I love that. Okay, that's awesome.
Done with it, but if you need to know what you're able to create, you will be showing it in a confirmation like that. But not only that, the weather, everything you affect as well. And that is also another reason why you really, when you're in full union and when you have all your memory back, you cannot really stay here on these lower realms. You're just too powerful.
Yeah, that kind of answers, it might answer her second question, which is it true that by only coming into union, we are healing the world and raising the vibration?
Before you come into union, you are healing the world and raising the vibration as you go. So you're raising the vibration, healing the world all the time. The more you do, you're coming into that union. So it's all connected, it's interconnected, and it's proportional, in direct proportion to each other as well.
Awesome. Beautiful. No more questions, unless Rick, you answered mine.
No, I'm great. The energy's getting good. I'm ready to go to the washroom.
We did want to talk about targeted ones before we end the show, and then also before we go to before you start into that, Linda wanted to know, will we be doing a future show on walk-ins?
Linda, I would suggest not. I will not be, because actually what a walk-in, what some use the label to describe a walk-in is not really, it's not the perspective that I put out. Like for all intents and purposes, the way that I perspect a walk-in is an angelic that will occupy another soul, but only for a short period of time. That's why it occurs. If there needs to be some, the other walk-in may only be there for 5 or 10 minutes to deliver a message or such. Then it leaves. It has respect for that for the soul incarnating there. For what I'm given is that really, right in this now, the soul does not step aside to allow for another walk-in, only if there's a short duration of a message or something of that sort. That's where I must stay on the walk-in. Now, your other beliefs, they pertain to other things and guide you, and perhaps in other areas. Meanwhile, I'm just not there with it for what I purvey in respect to that. So very clearly, a walk-in is just, well, not it's just a walk-in. It is an angel or a divine one that just steps in momentarily and delivers a message or does some sort of a deed or a kind act, and that's it. And it's a temporary assignment. That's what I give with it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. And we did get one last question from Jennifer. Can one's twin be the creator?
I'm getting yes.
Oh.
Or hold it, just wait. You must remember, Jen, that we are all creators. So are you, let me say that the way that we are to perceive things here perhaps is that this is a beautiful question because it's tricky too, and I want to assure I get it correct. I was going to present it in such a way that, let's say, Jen, that not the prime creator, but a direct sub-creator as well. So not, say, Source and Gaia. Source, if you can perceive it like this, that let's say this is God, this is the main source head, and at this time this is Gaia. So you have the patriarch and you have Gaia as the matriarch, but they are one. They are all connected, and we are all in between that connection right now, trying to find our way back home. But you could look at it that way, perhaps. So let's say prime creator, that we could look at Gaia as the patriarch's better half, perhaps.
Yeah.
That's the way I
love
look
it.
at it.
That was a great question.
Oh, what I will say though, that Jennifer, you're not the first one to suspect this from a feminine, that they are, that they could be prime creators, twin flame as well. That has occurred before. I have seen it, but I must say no. I'll go with what I just said. That prime creator's twin flame would be Gaia. I must go with that. But Jennifer, again, you know, if you receive things as well, you must go with that too.
Yeah, that was a great question.
And I will say I am a powerful creator, but so I'm the powerful creator. Anyhow,
Yes, you are.
333. That's a good number.
Yeah. I was just gonna say 333. Wow. Okay,
Well,
there you have it.
yeah, we got telepathy going on there, girl.
That's awesome. All right. Great questions, everyone. Phenomenal. Thank you so much for all those questions. Rick, you want to talk about the targeted ones before we end the show?
Yeah, I'd like to touch base on that because it's such, an important topic. Let's say, but perhaps not for this audience at this time, although many of you were targets. You have surpassed that. But having said this, what we have is the emergence of many more that are beginning to awaken out of the, among the masses. And this is where it is at this very time right now that I at least need to put this out to the ones that are newly awakening because they are disoriented. They knew that something went on. And let's say they were the last ones subjected to such a bewildering experience that to assist them and to give them an explanation of, what did occur, that I wish to be readily available to give them that support and also get them up to speed here very quickly. Now, as I mentioned before, there is no real threat of the direct dark target that was there before. We have wiped that out in 2012. Previous 2012, there was very intense dark targeting. Once we took out the ringleaders, if you will, there remained the minions and the remnants of that targeting that remained there, and it remains yet to limited degrees, being diminished every day into the 4D, into the unawakened ones. And this is also part of the ones just awakening. It's also part of their experience. And to expedite the mass awakening, divinity also simulated for some dark experiences to get them to break through the veil, the threshold. But at this time, for everyone, and most of you here, or all of you here, that, some of you were targets, and yes, you were again. And it's part of the reason, you had to be that also on a soul level to understand the type of resistance we were up against when we come here. So you need to get in, see all the dirty work, how they did it, how it worked, so that you're able to overthrow it and take control of it, which we are doing. But you needed those experiences. It was allowed to happen. And we are here where we are right now.
Yeah.
But again, I do wish to get into that subject, and I know, a lot of the viewers perhaps now can identify with this. They know they were targeted, and they're absolutely correct, and it was intentional.
Yeah. Yeah. Scary stuff. Yeah.
And
we'll probably do a show on it.
Yeah, just to share, I still see here today remnants of that. They targeted when I was human in the past, like they tried to kill me several times, and and I told them once they tried the first time, and then I was awakened, and I began to know who and what it was. I said, okay, I can't be killed. Then I kept telling them. That they didn't believe it. They tried a few more funny things, but then after a while they gave up. So then they just observed from the distance. And one of the most comical things is you know, they keep a surveillance on me while I'm here, and it's really I just play cat and mouse or laugh at it with them. But the black op helicopters, what you hear many about, yeah, when I was in the mountains a few days ago or a week ago, I drive out in this, you know, up in the mountains in this kind of like a lake bed, river bed. There's a black helicopter comes and lands in front of Betsy, you know, about an eighth of a mile away on the flat, stays there, revs up the engine a bit, and it lifts up, lifts back up and goes back in the direction it comes. And when they land, I just give them the peace sign and laugh.
I just always think funny, they just revving up their engine, you know, like you try to, you know, like two cars sitting next to each other, one's revving up their engines.
Yeah,
like,
when ready to rumble. Yeah, I'm always ready to rumble.
Exactly. Yeah. Peace out.
Yeah. My phones and computers, like, you know, before I was awakened, during awakened, it was all, you know, it was all hacked and compromised, and phones and everything. It was just absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, they would try their intimidation upon me and try to put me into fear. But, you know, it was a great time, because then I was beginning to come to know what it was. As I said, you know, I was breaking, I was remembering, but I was also given what I was. And, you know, once I knew that I was connected to the head honcho, then let's get this show on the road. And that changed everything quickly, because at that point, before I knew I was connected to the head honcho, I mean, I was at a point just from the human aspect of fighting whatever way I could to the death. I mean, because where I was a target, they financially hit me with everything, and I can just wiped out everything I worked for, more or less. And, you know, then I ran in to see how everything was corrupt with the governments and the banks and the law enforcement agencies. And, you know, I was saying, saying to myself, you know, okay, what do I got left to lose? So I'm running over in my head, you know, before I knew I was connected to God, before I knew God was real, I'm running all this over in my head, you know, what's one guy going to do? So I did a lot of heavy thinking in a very short time of, you know, thinking, should I make it my best effort to make it better for anyone? How could I do that for humanity? Do I just give up, you know, and just become just accept what they're doing to me and let things, you know, let them take more things? But no, I couldn't do that either, because I'm a little bit stubborn, and I'm always a guy that before I was awakened, you know, where there's a will, there was a way.
There's a way.
I knew deep in my soul before I was awakened, in my heart, that there was a way. I just did not anticipate, you know, it being God, and knowing that I was directly connected to that. And geez, that was one of the most glorious days yet, when I found out, who I actually was. And wow, just comical. Yeah, I had a lot of comical things as well.
How powerful.
It's fun being down here, but it gets boring and tiresome, you know, like all of us, right? But, you know, I'm also here to share with you. Yeah, it's very real. I know God is real, and I know this journey is real. I know it's authentic what I get. Many of your viewers know me. They've been, you know, following what I've been sharing with them. They know that sometimes, you know, we're given prophetic things that it happens. Those are their confirmation. So, you know, to weed out the doubts, and let's keep coming together, make us bigger and stronger, and, you know, get this job done. No time for BS, right? You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get this show on the road.
Mm.
There you go. Well, anything else you want to say? Any last words of wisdom? Wise one? Would you like to say anything? I mean, you think you have anything to say? That
No, I'd like to go to the washroom. I'm pretty well done. My throat is getting a little bit raw again. I got to talk to
okay.
Father on this. I guess it's getting raw because we're done. Getting a sore
Okay.
throat.
Well, thank you, Rick, so much for being on the show as always. It's such a pleasure to have you, and I love just interviewing you, and I love doing these shows with you and who you are and what you're about. So really helping us to assist us. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome, and thank you, Linda, and all of our amazing comrades that are,
Yeah.
on this trip. The love, we know the power of it, and we're building it, and yeah, it is happening, and we're seeing those signs of it, and we just keep going forward. We got our trust and our faith, and it all works out, and keep sticking together, and keep bringing more in, and yeah, jump on the train, and we'll go to another
That's right.
universe, whatever. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
love everyone, and I thank everyone, and in any way that I can assist, I try to, but always it's important to follow what you get. I, that is your guidance. So with that, kiss and winks and peace and whatever else we do, all this love. You're amazing, and everyone else is. So have a great night. Thank you. I'm going to the washroom. I'm going to exit the screen.
All right. Thank
I'll
you,
cut
Rick.
it off.
And,
Okay. Thanks.
and
Bye.
thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you. And thank you, everybody who joined us today. Thank you for your awesome questions, your comments. Thank you for all the love. I felt all the love. And all your healing vibes, everybody. So again, we thank you. We love you. And be sure to watch the replay. If you, anybody that missed it, be sure to watch the replay. And yeah, so awesome. Thank you. Love you guys. Bye.